I'm hot too.
Okay, you guys ready? 1, 2. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're making a new start, starting with a fresh heart. Gonna be a big part of the world we see now. Working on a new plan, sharing with a helping hand. Love bursting out on demand to show us how. We're gathered here together to sing a brand new song, to celebrate togetherness and bring new friends along, to help each other find a way and help us all be strong. Be a warm community where everyone belongs. We're making a new start, starting with a fresh heart. Gonna be a big part of the world we see now. Working on a new plan, sharing with a helping hand. Love bursting out on demand to show us how. We know that God works with us to give us what we need, just like He helps the flowers grow from tiny seeds. We can grow and bloom like that, a beautiful display of love and joy and peace right here, and doing it our own way. We're making a new start, starting with a fresh heart. Gonna be a big part of the world we see now. We're working on a new plan, sharing with a helping hand. Love bursting out on demand to show us how. Love bursting out on demand to show us how. I'm still asleep.
Did you say you're still asleep?
I'm still asleep.
You are not. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And welcome to fall. There is something about the sky that happens in fall that it is just the most beautiful blue. I just love it. Welcome to those of you who are here. I love your faces. And for those of you who are joining us online, welcome to you as well. I'm Steph. I'm the platform assistant today. And as always, it is my great pleasure to say welcome to our celebration today. For those of you who may not know, we have an absolutely extraordinary licensed Unity teacher right here in our midst. We are so blessed to have Danna Zahller with us today. Not only is she an extraordinary teacher, an amazing human being, a wonderful woman, she's also our speaker today. So give her a hand. Woo. Her message today is honest to God. Now, I tell you, I say that a lot, and I have no idea if she means it like I mean it, but we're going to find out. Also, thank you to our music team, Sandra, Nikki, Chris, you amazing, amazing musical stylings. We love you. And of course, none of this happens without our extraordinary media team. So Byron, Wayne, thank you so much. And it's so good to have you back in your places. And Wayne, I was so pleased that every time I saw you today, not once were you in the kitchen. Which, speaking of kitchen, we want to say thank you so much to Lloyd and Susan, who made our coffee this morning. Not only did they... You haven't tasted it. Well, okay, now I was gonna preface this with they were very careful to label it very weak, moderate, and very strong. So if you're looking for a coffee shake, that might be one possibility. I'm not quite sure if it's that strong, but it might be. And also, Nikki, thank you so much for bringing treats today. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And one last thing with that is that there are still opportunities to join our Sunday morning brew team. And also, don't forget to sign up for potluck. Now, on that note, we have many volunteers here who do amazing service, and we just want you to know how much we appreciate you. Thank you. This is not an easy task, but it is a task done in love, and it is sacred service, and we appreciate it more than you could possibly know. And on that note, I am going to say, Sandra, take it away.
And on that note, I'm going to ask those of you who are here to stand and sing along on this one. Thank you for this day. I think we have the words up there. It's nice. Sometimes we take it slower and it's kind of more chant-like, but we're going to give it a little bit of motion today. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing 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 day.
Nice. You all sound lovely. And that sounds like a new mantra. I could sing that all day long. Maybe I ought to keep other stuff out of my head. Just to let you know, your souls are welcome here. As well as your bodies, your faces, your smiles, your thoughts, your opinions, your singing voices, your prayers, your hopes, your dreams, and anything that is troubling. You are welcome here. Absolutely welcome. On that note, one of our missions in this place is that we are touching hearts and transforming lives. And if you are here, we are hoping that that is exactly what is happening to you in your world, that we are touching your heart and transforming your lives. And for those of you who are online, we hope the same thing for you. We do this through classes, we do this through prayer, we do this through this wonderful, inspiring, uplifting music. We do it through our classes, our teachers, our ministers, and that is all part of doing that. And also our vision is to, we offer a path for positive spiritual living. And that is also part of touching your hearts and transforming your lives, because if you're using a path of positive spiritual living, you are changing your life. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Steve so that he can offer us our spiritual nugget and go from there.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a treat to be here in a different way today, and I'm glad that I'm sort of sitting back and going to be blessed. My socks will be blessed right off by you, Danna, when you speak, and I'm excited to be here. So a spiritual nugget is what do we teach here in Unity? And this is a reminder for some of us, and some of us may remember how Unity was really founded, and it was really founded by a call for healing with Myrtle Fillmore, a co-founder of Unity. She ended up being called the Unity Mom, the mother of Unity. And she was, as a young child, she was told she wouldn't live very long because she had a very severe case of tuberculosis. And so she began to do some incredible work. She had incredible guidance and a whammo from Spirit to pay attention, and she began to do incredible work. And this is one of the phrases that she came up with. As a child of God, I do not inherit illness. She heard that from a guest speaker. She was hearing a spiritual teacher in the Kansas City area. And that just resonated with her big time. And she began to use what we would call as an affirmation. And then she went on to say, I went to all of the life centers in my body and spoke words of truth to them, words of strength and power, that they were free, they were unlimited, and they were unlimited spirit, that they were not corruptible flesh, but centers of life and energy omnipresent. And so she began to do that over a period of many months and years, and her healing was dramatic, and it was very, very powerful, and word spread. So that's something that we can use in our own way. That if we have any challenges we have, there is nothing as a child of God that can give us anything but love and power. We do not inherit any illness or any pain. And so it is. And so now we move into a time of the Unity Statement for Peace. Okay. Unity, so let's say this together. This comes from Unity Worldwide Ministries and Unity World Headquarters, and it's been around the planet. It's very, very powerful. It is meant for each one of us as well as collective unconsciousness, shifting the consciousness to a statement of peace. Together. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. For there is one power and presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. It is therefore the position of Unity to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever the name for guidance during these challenging times, and to pursue peace, not war. For this is what honors the God of all of our faith traditions. And so we say, so it is, we believe it is so, and we let it go, and we say, thank you, God. Now is the time to stand and greet our neighbors. Those of you online that are joining us with us, you can do so vicariously, thinking that you're here in space with us, and you are. And you can respect a hug or give a greeting, a high five. Okay, folks. I think we're going to have other places I've been, we would work on something with the music team. So after so many times that you get something going on the piano or whatever and say, we could spend a lot of time just connecting with each other. In some ways, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. But it also leaves people online sort of wondering, what are they doing there? So we're going to go forth with, what happened to the spiritual nugget? Did I do it? That's a daily word. Okay, maybe we didn't. Okay, well, anyway. Maybe some of us, given the appearance that some of us know what they're doing, but I'm not necessarily one of those, as you may have noticed. And there's a part of me that gets appalled when I am not successful at being a recovering perfectaholic. So anyway, today's daily word, we are joining thousands, hundreds of thousands of people around the planet in affirming this word. The word today is healing. And the affirmation is, divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. And from Scripture, John 14, in him was life, and life was the light of the people. And so the daily word reads, when I'm experiencing a healing need, I focus my thoughts beyond illness and discomfort. Even as I seek treatment for the injury or illness, I see myself whole. I remember that I am created in the image according to the likeness of God. I know my life is God's life, living as me, in, as, and seeking expression through me. I just added that. Divine life fills every cell, strengthens every muscle, bone, and organ, and quickens every nerve in my body. It restores perfect order to all of my body functions, releasing and replacing anything unlike itself. When someone asks me to pray with them, I do not ask about their symptoms or circumstances. I affirm the healing activity of divine life in each one and with whom I pray, affirming healing and divine life. I see them as the spiritual beings they are, whole and well. So let's affirm the affirmation, and we can use this for ourselves and for others in prayer as we affirm together. Together, divine life as me. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. And so it is, and so it shall be. And so we take some time now as we move into the time of personal and community prayer to know that there is only love. And in this time, we remember beyond our beliefs sometimes, there is incredible power in our thoughts and in our words, particularly as they are bound together with our mind and heart in oneness. As we join with the divinity of who we truly are, human beings having this spiritual experience, we're able to know that, yes, there is only love. And so as we move into this time of sacred prayer, if you have a prayer that you are speaking silently for yourself and or for others, you may, if you wish, to speak aloud a name or a condition, whisper it, and just know that whether or not we actually hear or understand what you just said, that with the power of collective consciousness, there's immense healing power as we join together in affirming what we are calling and what we are affirming is true. So I take for a moment now and speak aloud or whisper aloud a prayer intention for ourselves, for others. and we take a deep breath and we release, we let go. We remember that the divine within all is doing its mighty healing work right now as we speak. And as we prepare to move into meditation, we do so with great joy and with great love. For there is a place within us that is very powerful and very ready.
So that you can breathe deeply. So just start to breathe with me. Allow your diaphragm to move as you open your lungs. Imagine as if God is breathing through you. God is breathing as you. So as we continue to breathe, just allow yourself to go into a deeper state of relaxation with each breath. And I invite you to picture in your mind our solar system of planets that are revolving around the sun. Some planets have moons that are revolving around them. And everything is operating in sync, in divine order. And our individual planet is moving, spinning with each day, which allows us to have these beautiful sunrises and sunsets. Now picture in your mind's eye every molecule in your body. Every molecule in your body is composed of electrons and neutrons and protons, and each one of them is revolving, all in sync, all in a divine plan. For indeed, just like our solar system, every cell in our bodies is in sync. Every cell in our body is connected to the whole, and your body is connected to all that is. So see yourself with every step, with every breath. You are connected to all that is, and all is well. And indeed, you are a divine creation, and you possess divine gifts. So I invite you in a moment of silence just to consider, what are those gifts that are yours to give? What are those divine gifts that you possess in the silence? And as you bring your awareness back to this physical space, feel the interconnectedness in this room. Feel this vibrational energy that is coalescing out from each individual in this room. And picture that as love, and see us sending that love out across our community, across our state, across our country, and out across the globe. And we see that connection of love, that divine presence operating in and through each of us. And we know that we have the power to restore the oceans. We have the power to bring this love into fruition as we stand for the truth that we are each God's children and we are one with all that is, operating in a divine plan. I will hold that truth for you and see that playing out in each of our individual lives. Every step, every breath in a divine plan. And so it is. Amen.
I am a child of this universe. The ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. I am kissed by Mother Earth.
I am a child of this universe. The sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have aligned for me in the sky. I am honored by all life. I am held by Father Time. Every blade of grass, every shaking leaf on a tree, every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through me.
I am a child of this universe. Through my breath, all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I can love at every turn. Give a kiss to Mother Earth.
I am a child of this universe. I greet the God in each face. to every blade of grass, to every shaking leaf on a tree, to every mountain top. I sing of the glory of God moving through all, moving as me, moving as you, moving as me, moving as you.
So you didn't realize that we made this dance floor for all of us to dance during that song. I asked him specially to make a dance floor for today, but I forgot to make an announcement. But I know in your mind you were dancing to that song. I saw some of you. It's sort of a waltz, isn't it? So we are children of the universe, and we are sort of waltzing through life. Sometimes we're sticking to the music a little better times than others, perhaps. Sometimes we are in sync with all of our partners, all of the other people on the planet. Sometimes we're not so in sync. So honest to God is, I've been in a bit of a rant lately because there is this experiential nature of God. And we all feel it. It's not a Christian thing, right? But we all can, if we go in nature, we have this universal experience of this oneness, this connectedness, and this something greater than ourselves that we can feel lifted by, we can feel inspired by. And honest to God, that is not the God that's taught about in all of our churches. So I heard tell of a story of there was a town that was facing major flooding. The rains came and the river rose dangerously. The people formed sandbag brigades to protect the things they valued. The sandbags wells rose and the floodwaters rose faster. Soon water covered their fields. The people, seeking safety inside their homes, watched as their livelihoods were destroyed before their eyes. They wanted to flee, but their roots were too deeply planted. They were so totally attached to their farms and town that they felt they could not leave. Still, the river kept rising. It now covered the first floor of their homes. As they watched their family photographs curl up and float away on the water, they felt they were losing the very meaning of their lives. Soon the floodwaters covering their town began to seep into the ground, contaminating their groundwater. Their homes were becoming unlivable. Yet something powerful and relentless inside themselves caused them to remain where they were. Rationally, they knew they had to leave, but emotionally, they were immobilized. Immobilized by fear. So this is an allegorical tale about what's happening in the Christian church right now. The mainline churches are immobilized by fear, even though they're hearing the choir singing of this experiential nature of God. They don't know how to change their platform because they are so stuck. So, what is your understanding of God? So, in Unity, we consider ourselves to be one of what they call the New Thought churches. And so, in the late 1800s, these mostly healing ministries were forming, and they were actually paying attention to this experiential nature of God. And Charles Fillmore was certainly one of the founders of Unity, and he was not the only one, though, that was starting to formulate these ideas by looking at what other religions were teaching, by looking at this transcendentalism, which was kind of a new thing at that time, and mostly by reading the mystical writers. And the mystical writers came from all different religions. There was the sacred native spirituality, too, that Charles was really grounded in from his youth. And so they formulated this different way of teaching the Gospels, this different way of looking at the Bible. And they did use the Bible as a foundational spiritual text, but they looked at it from a metaphysical standpoint and from the symbology in those words. So they reference back to the meaning of those words in the Greek and in the Hebrew. And so what came out of that was this lively teaching of life itself, this positive, practical Christianity that they called it, of living as spirit, of having spirit live through you. And of course that comes with a great responsibility. It becomes with a great responsibility of being in integrity to that very God that is your lifeblood, right? To learn to live as though God is operating through you, to learn to trust that spirit and allow yourself to be guided in that way. But certainly most of us grew up with a different kind of God, this God that had some maybe supernatural powers, that was living out there in the world, that was watching over you and could just smite you if you made a mistake, or certainly he could do wonderful things for you too if you were like the good girl or the good boy. So we saw sickness as a kind of punishment by God. So this belief in God also required our praise and adoration, and it required that we atone in some way for the death of God's only Son, correct? You remember those words, right? So if we interpret the Bible literally, the Bible can be used as a tool to justify a lot of negative, hateful positions. In the book of Joshua, for instance, in Joshua 10, it reads that God stopped the sun in the sky to enable Joshua to have sufficient daylight to slaughter the Amorites. Go, God, go, right? Is that a God that you really want to cheer for? Of course, they knew at that time that the sun was rotating around the earth, and that God had the ability, of course, to stop the sun. So this is the very scripture later on that justified the Roman Catholic Church to require Galileo to recant under threat of death that the earth was not the center of the universe. I think we've learned a few lessons since then, hopefully. But it's looking to me more and more that anybody that the Catholic Church denigrates probably has something going for them, right? So again, the traditional church is so stuck in their positioning that it's very, very difficult to make a change. So there was a change that started happening, and actually this quote, honest to God, started back in the 1960s. There was Time magazine in the 1960s. On the cover of Time magazine, it projected this thought that God is dead. And there was a group of theologians that were proclaiming that the God that they knew, which is the supernatural power God that can stop the sun in the sky. They were proclaiming that that version of God was dead. And there was some pretty high up people in the traditional Christian churches, mostly the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church in England, and the Episcopal Church in the United States. Several bishops within those congregations were trying to sell this image of God as other than that supernatural God that would, kill our enemies and smite the bad girls and boys. But really what happened, instead of moving from their position, this static position, instead of moving into this new teaching, this new mystical, experiential God, the churches, for the most part, entrenched into their platform. And so they did change, though. They did change the way they were teaching in the seminaries about that time. They did start to teach things about the writings of the mystics and the similarity between what these people that were experiencing God in them were saying. But once they graduate from seminary and go back into the traditional churches, it was very, very challenging and almost impossible for any of these new priests, ministers, to change the message within the churches, because the people really still expected to say the same creeds, expected to hear the same incantations about Jesus dying for your sin, etc., etc. And that's just a crying shame in my view. I had never heard of this group that they were called the honest-to-God theologians. So a couple of them, mostly these bishops that were leading the pack, were then dismissed, or they were reduced to a lesser level, and they were put in places where they weren't able to then have any authority or power within the church itself. And other mystical teachers like Pierre de Chardin was prevented from publishing any of his works, because he was a paleontologist, and he was totally alive with God in the cosmos and this universality of the cosmos and the dance of life essentially playing out across the cosmos. So by the 1950s or so, we started to know that not only was our solar system part of a much larger universe, that there could be hundreds, millions potentially of galaxies, and ours was just one of those galaxies. So imagine the religious teaching that could come out of that. Imagine the mystery of that would make our minds, our imaginations totally come to life with what this is all about, and what our individual lives that are connected to that whole could be all about. But certainly, they sort of missed the mark in selling it to the mainline churches. And so what resulted really is the churches have been dying ever since that time. And I think that this theistic God that's living out there, that's watching over you, is not a message that the people could buy anymore. And so if there is no theism, it seemed like the only choice was atheism, right? So atheism became much more common. And in fact, I had a recent experience. I was at a workshop, and there was a big line on the floor, and they were asking questions like, what do you believe in? And they asked this one question. I was surprised. And so all the way to the yes was on one side, and all the way no, or you could be somewhere in the middle. So there's like a group of about 15 people, and they would ask this question, and then you would position yourself on this polarity of where you landed. And so the first question that really surprised me, it said, do you believe that we were all connected? And so this group of just various individuals from a community, everybody was all the way yes. Do you believe that we are all connected? And I thought, wow, they're pretty forward thinking. But if we really believe that we are all connected, we sure don't act like we believe that, do we? So the next question that I thought, again, would be just a unison response. Do you believe in God or a higher being? And I was the only one standing there. And so after that, almost everybody was clear over on the other end. There was a few people that were kind of undecided, kind of in the middle. I was pretty blown apart by that. And so after that, because I'm the one that's standing there by myself, they said, well, can you explain your position? And I said, well, I have this experience. I have this experience of something greater than myself. And I could tell a lot of stories of times when, something just came through me, and these words came through me that didn't feel like they came from me. They didn't come from my brain. They're not like, in fact, sometimes I have a thought to say something silly or something to change the subject because things are getting sort of uncomfortable, and then this stuff, this profound words come through me, and I think, what did I just say, And it's almost like the E.F. Hutton commercials, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Do you remember that commercial? So I'm a pretty introverted, mostly pretty quiet person. But when this voice that's not coming from here, when this voice comes out of this mouth, it's like people hear me. Where a lot of times I can be in a conversation, if there's a group of people and there's enough noise in the room that I could just be mostly talking to myself because I think I'm saying something really interesting and people just don't hear me. So it's like, it's a wild and unbelievable experience for me to have that happen, and I've had it happen a number of times. And so that's why I was all the way over there, that I do believe there's something greater, grander than myself. But I wasn't proclaiming to believe in the theistic God of somebody that could come and smite my enemies, right? So I have this different understanding. And so my understanding comes from lots of different people. So this would be one of them, Mohandas Gandhi. The way he lived his life and the way he stood in his position, and he really was willing to sacrifice, right? He was willing to starve himself to stand for peace, what he called ahimsa. So I can see that in the midst of death, life persists. In the midst of untruth, truth persists. In the midst of darkness, light persists. Hence, I gather that God is life, truth, light. He is love. I would be standing all the way on the end for that, wouldn't you? That's what I know to be true. Okay, Matthew Fox. Matthew Fox has been in Spokane a few times. He wrote this book called Original Blessing. Jesus never heard of original sin. The term wasn't even used until the 4th century. So it's strange to run a church, a gathering, an ecclesia, supposedly on behalf of Jesus, when one of its main dogmatic tenets, original sin, never occurred to Jesus. Sadly, Western Christianity is dependent on and chronically attached to original sin, but what they're really attached to is St. Augustine. So St. Augustine was the emperor that really brought in this notion of original sin. That was during the time of, well, actually, Constantine was the emperor. St. Augustine was the leader of the church at that time. And they really just took a vote. And it certainly was not even a unanimous vote to teach that we were all born with original sin. But imagine the consequences that have come from that. Imagine the numbers of people that have been impacted by that and the amount of shame that has been inflicted upon them. I think it's time to give up the ghost. Richard Rohr. Father Richard Rohr is in New Mexico, and he is the leader of a group that's called Center for Action and Contemplation. And what I love about that is he really believes that action must come from our contemplation, that we need to act out what we are taught, what we are led to do. God never leads the soul through guilt, shame, or fear, but attracts the soul through love. And so this person, the one that has been kind of my hero for a long time, John Shelby Spong, and again, he's spoken at Unity a number of times, and I've been able to meet him a few times. So God is not a Christian, God is not a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist. All of these are human systems which human beings have created to try to help us walk into the mystery of God. I honor my tradition, I walk through my tradition, but I don't think my tradition defines God. I think it only points me to God. So this is that universality that we're talking about in Unity. And what a gift it would be if we really could have this revival of Christianity in this new understanding of what Jesus actually taught and how Jesus actually lived, instead of something that was concocted to control the masses or to convince people that our church or that church was the one true church. So really what happens when theism dies and most people turn to secularism or atheism, right? So we really still have our wonderful revivals. They might be in the football stadium where we're all cheering for our team because we know our team is the one true team, right? We're so used to trying to be the one best and to outcompete everybody. So we turn to other things that can numb us, like drugs and alcohol. We turn to consumerism. We certainly have that is alive and well in our culture. Yet, are we happier? So it seems like on the other side, though, there is also an extreme backlash response from the more fundamental churches. So this hysterical revival of religious fundamentalism. And there's the same thing in the Islamic faith, this based on fear, this return to using hatred to try to, again, encourage God to smite our enemies. So John Shelby Spong, just before he died, he came out with this book that's called Unbelievable. And in it he had 12 theses, and he addressed all of these issues. What we teach about God, what we teach about Jesus and the difference between Jesus and the Christ, what we teach about original sin, the virgin birth, the miracles, the atonement theology, which is the understanding that Jesus died for our sins, the resurrection, the ascension, ethics in general in the church, about prayer, about supplicant prayer versus affirmative prayer, about life after death, and about judgment and discrimination. And basically in this book, he is beseeching the church to reconsider its tenets and to embrace this more mystical, experiential God. So the understanding is that the only way that you can find God is within you. You can go to lectures and you could read books like this too, but unless you have an experience of it, it will not become your natural understanding. And so what is it that the churches need to do to create this new revival? One thing for sure, it needs to be experiential. It needs to be interactive. It needs to be a conversation. It needs to be open to questioning. It needs to be a lot of, I don't know yet, but I think, or I've experienced, or I know this much, but I'm not sure about that. So everyone needs to have this ability to come together in community in a safe place where we're not shamed, where we're not judged, where we're not discriminated against in any way, and to really reveal these pieces of truth that come through us. Because my piece of truth is not the same as your piece of truth. But maybe through this interactive conversation, we can start to have this more general understanding of what that is, what that means for God living in me, what that means for my action that's based on that understanding of God living in me, living through me, Spirit as me, guiding me. Imagine that, what that would be like. And now imagine a group of younger individuals. We have a few younger individuals. Thank you for being willing to be here. Imagine the masses of younger individuals being attracted to that notion of you as God, you bringing this special gift, your special piece of knowledge, your piece of truth. And let's come together and talk about that. Let's come together and share our experiences, share our questions, when there is no real authority, right? Unity doesn't teach that we need to touch the garment, right? We touch the garment in here, but there is no person. We don't elevate our ministers to be the one knowing person that you have to come and ask for interpretation, right? Charles Fillmore wrote these wonderful texts, The Revealing Word and the Metaphysical Dictionary, where he researched all of the symbolic interpretations of the names in the Bible, the different symbols in the Bible, and he really put it out for everyone that you are your own mystic, right? You are your own interpreter, and that the symbology in the Bible will be revealed through you, that because it's based on where it touches on your experiences, what's happened in your life. And if you read, say, the prodigal son, the parable of the prodigal son, you are going to learn something different than I would learn because of your experiences. And maybe 5 years from now, you will interpret something different from that. But it's because how does it speak to you? How does it inform your life? So we're not naysayers about the Bible, but we just are very careful about not taking it literally. Because there was a different understanding in that day. The people that wrote that Bible had a much different motivation. They had a different audience, right? They had a different world in every sense of the world, of the term. They had a completely different world. And we're not here to denigrate that. We're not here to belittle that or diminish that. But the usefulness of the Bible today is only in how I can experience my life differently because of those words. There were wonderful, wise beings in all of the sacred teachings of all of the religions in the world that can bring something to you that help to shape your worldview, help to shape your understanding, and to enable you to give your gifts, because that's why we're here. It's all about me stepping into my life, healing all that shame and blame and all that victimhood so that I can be whole, and then for me to be able to and willing to give my gifts and to know what those are. And that's what your purpose is too. You want to play in my sandbox? Yeah. Let's play with this. Let's learn about this. So if anybody's interested in reading any of these theses of John Shelby Spong, I do have a copy of that. But that's not completely the point. I mean, ultimately, what we seek is a universal cosmology inside of which we can all live with an inherent dignity. We seek a universal cosmology inside of which we can all live with inherent dignity. And that really has to be a part of the future of this church, a part of the future of any church, of any denomination, of any religion, to find this cosmology where we can all live and learn and play together. So, in closing, when we are honest to God, we treat the natural world with reverence. We honor all individuals we encounter. We find joy in serving others, and we have the courage to dance. So let's dance. Amen.
I want to thank you big time. Danna, you are an amazing gift to the universe, a gift over the decades to this place called Unity, and give us a fresh invitation to, this is why we are here, folks. There's all kinds of possibilities, and so thank you, thank you, thank you. No, yes, I need to do, one of the reasons I'm up here is I need to back this up. Oh, there's the slides. They got it.
All right, so I'm going to invite everyone to dance. I know many of you know this. If you would be so good as to stand, we're going to do God Is, which is a Richard McDeachy song, and liven things up a little bit. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well. God is my health that can't be sick. God is my strength unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear. Since God and love and truth are here. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ the truth that lives in me. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know God is, and all is well. Wherever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is
Danna, thank you so much. One, I love learning new stuff. Two, I love learning new stuff about spiritual history and where things come from. And I'm always looking for new alternatives. So thank you so much. That was inspiring and uplifting, and I have new reading to do, and I love it. Thank you. All right, we have announcements. And before we start these announcements, Sandra?
Oh, thank you for giving me a couple of minutes here. Just wanted to let you know, for those of you who have not seen the Diva Show, this is our fall show over at the Jacqueline Arts and Cultural Center in Post Falls. Same wonderful cast of women, blues, country, rock, pop. I have tickets, hard copy tickets, or there's a code on these little cards. I have a few of these you can go and buy online. It's a wonderful show, and we are actually encouraging costumes because it is Halloween weekend. So we're going to be a little spooky. So come see me if you're interested. Thank you.
Well, and I have heard, and I haven't been able to attend because I work nights and weekends too, but I have heard nothing but they bring the house down, they raise the roof, they leave it on the floor. I'm amazed that when you are here after that you've got anything left. It's extraordinary. If you get a chance to do this, do it. It is well worth it. And one more before we start the slides. If you get a Jackie Larson card in your email, please open it. It's from us. Not us, but it's from Unity. Please open it. And we send cards out for various things. We send them out for fall greetings. We send them out for Easter. We send them out for your birthday. Go ahead and open it. It is safe. It is not a scam, and all is well.
It's very charming. I watched it.
And they are very charming.
They're very charming, yeah.
Okay, onward and upward with the rest of our announcements. We do have...
Today is the last day of our membership class, and Danna and I are teaching that, and you all are welcome. And we'll have other times when we'll teach a little bit more about unity, and Danna will get you scheduled to do something to continue where you had us dancing. It'll be awesome and awesome. Dance class, yes.
Yeah.
And so what's coming up is the first of many town hall meetings coming up, and we're making a potluck out of it on October 1. So mark your calendar. You'll be hearing from our board and myself and others. And there's a sign-up sheet that we have, and we'll have it here and on the table in the foyer so we know what the food situation might be. So Sunday, October 1st, right after the service, all kinds of goodies coming forth.
Yeah, that is
next Sunday.
Whoa.
Yes. So the Sunday morning team, I guess, Wendy, you're there. Do you want to come in? And probably not, or do you? Come on in. No? Okay. We want to thank people that have signed up for it. And I added the word to the top of the Sunday morning team by calling it sacred service, because it really is about volunteering. And we've been talking, we've been having some come to Jesus moments into new levels of authenticity about, hey, if people don't step forward, then we don't do coffee and tea. And there's other things that will be added to that plate as we continue to look at what's going on in our lives here and what's calling for us to move into transformation in ways of doing what we're doing or not doing, or how about being who we've come here to be. So we encourage you to sign up, and thank all of you that have been doing it. And I appreciate you folks. And different types of coffee, that's brand new. That's so cool.
You get to do some creativity with that. How great is that? You get to be creative with your snacks, creative with your coffee, if you so choose. This is the part of our service. Now, this is coming with the kids, if I understand. Okay. So this is the part of our service where we determine how we would like to support our community. And as you can see, there is a way here to donate that way. You can also donate online. You can also donate right here. And so in a moment here, our beautiful Sandra and our musical team are going to play
I'm going to make them sing again.
Sing some more. We love it. I heard this saying that's with those who sing, pray twice. And I just think that's fantastic.
That's nice.
So I think singing is wonderful. Bring it on. And we will pass the bat.
And one thing, this song you all know, over the decades, and it's been one where a lot of energy comes forth with a magic penny. And we might imagine how about a magic $1,000 bill or something. But the theory is wonderful, and get into the energy of this. This is in the consciousness of unity for a long time. So here we go, the magic penny. Let's stand.
All right, so I'm going to invite you to sing along on the chorus here if you'd like. It's cute. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Money is dandy and we like to use it, but love is better if you don't refuse it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it unless you lock up your door. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. So let's go dancing till the break of day, and if there's a piper we can pay. For love is something if you give it away, you'll end up having more. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having, end up having, end up having more.
Oh, what
It's
a fun
cute.
song.
That is
And
cute.
true. Doug? I will invite you to join me as we bless our offerings. Together, divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. And then, Doug, thank you so much for carrying our prayer box for us. Please remember that you are more than welcome to place your prayer requests here. They will be prayed on here, and then we send them to Unity, Silent Unity, to be prayed over for 30 days. And I can tell you prayer works. I can tell you that what those folks are doing over there at Silent Unity makes prayer work really fast. It happens quickly, and Doug, thank you so much. Okay, bring in our kids.
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Good morning. Okay, so we are in a series called Peacemakers. And so today, when I found out I was going to be teaching the children, I couldn't wait to teach them this. What did we learn today? What were we learning about?
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, which is from South Africa. Ubuntu, which is from South Africa. And it's their way of life. And I guess the best way to explain it is there was an anthropologist that came into the town where all these children were, and he was noticing that there was something a little different about the children than there was in the Western world. And so he did an experiment where he took a basket of apples, sweet apples, and he took them and put them under a tree, and he told the children of this town that they were going to race to get it, and whoever got it first got to keep them all. And to his surprise, the children held hands and ran together to the apples and sat down and enjoyed it as a group. And that is Ubuntu. And when the little girl was asked, you had a chance of having it all to yourself? Why did you all run together? And she said, because how can I be happy if we're not all happy? And I think that was beautiful, and so that's what we studied today. You want to show your pictures you painted?
Nice.
And so then after we studied Ubuntu a bit, luckily the South African people have put a activity book together, and it was free to download off the internet, so I downloaded these activity books for the children to do today. So we talked about peace and being peacemakers and how you can be a peace breaker, but they all want to be peacemakers, right? Yeah. And anyway, this book is lovely, and they're going to take it home, and it's got a bunch of pages and a bunch of activities. They like the word search the best, or the coloring page, but anyway, thank you, South Africa, for letting us download this book, and thank you, children, for learning about Ubuntu with me.
And now let us bless our children. God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. Wendy, thank you so much for being with our kids today, and what a wonderful thing to be learning about. I think we can all take a page from that. And now we will all join together in our dance circle for the peace song, and then Reverend Steve will lead us in our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
The Raggedy Band is marching along, folks keeping rhythm to the beat of the song that a little boy's playing